the backlash to President Trump's proposed tariffs on Canada. Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, says he's now imposing a 25% retaliatory tariff on electricity exports to Americans living in 3 U.S. states starting tomorrow. The move potentially raising costs and could threaten grid stability for 1.5 million customers. Premier Ford says, blame your president. NewsNation's Nick Smith is here with the latest. Nick?
And Adrienne, caught in the middle of all of this are consumers who simply want the ability to turn on their lights without an increased fee. We're talking about New York, Minnesota, and Michigan. 1.5 million customers, but that's by households. Multiply that number, Adrienne, by the number of people in a home, and then you're talking about millions of Americans who will be hit with higher heating and energy costs. According to Ontario's Premier Doug Ford, Canada's 25% tariff or surcharge on energy flowing into parts of the U.S. will begin Monday, and that cost will be passed directly to consumers. For some, that cost will be in addition to the 10% tariff already placed on Canadian energy by Washington. The increased fees has the potential to be a painful budget buster for many Americans and a major headache for the Trump administration. Former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty calling the tariffs a potential poison pill.
So this whole thing has been very sort of herky-jerky as to how it's been implemented. I can't imagine that these tariffs, if they go on, are going to stay on very long because of the threat of inflation. And again, if inflation reignites, that's going to be a major, major problem for the Trump administration.
For now, Mr. Trump has postponed the bulk of U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods until April 2nd, excluding energy from Ontario. Trudeau has also suspended the second wave of retaliatory tariffs until April. None of this is stopping China from taking action, though. Tomorrow, China is slapping retaliatory tariffs on many of the U.S. AG's products: chicken, pork, wheat, soybeans, fruits, vegetables, and dairy products. Mr. Trump is betting on China, Canada, and other countries, AB, feeling the weight caused by tariffs and eventually caving to the pain before we do.
Nick, the Trump administration has been talking about the reasons behind the tariffs. It's not just a power play, but it's to stop the flow of fentanyl across our borders. Are you hearing that we have any leverage because of these tariffs?
We do slightly. AB, this is the deal. Fentanyl is a real problem, and we know that. But it's particularly bad at the southern border, not the northern. Last year, 21,000 pounds of fentanyl was seized by customs in the south. 21,000 pounds. But get this, only 43 pounds of fentanyl at our northern border. Still, Canada is taking action. Here's the Premier of Alberta.
We've put another 50 border agents. We're doing more commercial vehicle inspection with dogs. We haven't actually found that much product going across our borders. It may be that there are other border crossings that are more problematic. We've got to do more, I think, and we have. We've got 10,000 individuals dedicated to looking at the issue of the border. I can tell you where we are. We actually see the reverse. We see cocaine coming up. We see methamphetamine coming up. And we see border crossers coming up from America.
Now, Canada has also signed a fentanyl czar and is investing 1.3 billion Canadian dollars to better secure their border. AB?
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Good to see you. With more on tariffs, our friend, White House columnist for thehill.com, Niall Stanage, is back. You know, President Trump has recently downplayed that there could be a possible recession due to his tariff strategy. But what's the word in D.C.? What are you hearing at the coffee shops and in the hallways of the Hill? Is everybody freaking out, or is this being overplayed by people who are less enlightened about global economics?
I think what is causing people to freak out is the uncertainty as much as the tariffs themselves. We have had about 3 or 4 different announcements just in the past week about what tariffs are going to be imposed, what tariffs are going to be suspended, what new tariffs may be imposed. That is something that is not liked in the political world, but more to the point, is not liked by financial markets, which tend to favor certainty. So I think that's a problem. More broadly, a very tariff-heavy policy is considered by a lot of people to risk inflation by its very nature. So some people thought that President Trump wasn't that serious about going forward with that. It now appears he is fairly serious, and people are grappling with that reality.
Yeah, I don't think they should ever doubt when he talks about money. It's like he's been doing things pretty boldly before.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.